Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this cold winter morning. This morning, you have myself, Christy Wilbert, Senior Vice President at URL Insurance Group. I also run the Medicare Offerings Department here at URL. Been here about 10 years, and I'm really excited to introduce Jason Yo. He's the VP of Cigna Supplemental Benefits. So he's going to be going over all the supplement, ancillary, agent portal stuff with you today. Really, it's a big treat that we have Jason. If all of you were familiar with Natalie, she has left, and Jason is her boss. So they are still looking to fill her position. So we get Jason today, which is awesome. Just to walk you around your screen really quick, there is a blue chat box on the bottom right. Please go ahead and click on that so it opens up your chat area where you can talk to the group as a whole, or there is a section for question and answer. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation today, and we'll make sure we get to them before we close out at the end. And this will be recorded today, so if you have to jump off and go back and watch it later, it will be in our webinar archive on the URL Insurance Group website at your convenience. And all right, you can go ahead and take it away, Jason. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Christy. Really appreciate you asking me to do this. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone's staying warm out there. I know it's cold where I am. It sounds like maybe it's cold likely where you are as well. But appreciate you taking the time. Really excited to show you our CSB portfolio. So just a couple of housekeeping items. I'll probably use the acronym CSB going forward, but Cigna Supplemental Benefits is sort of the segment that I represent, as Christy mentioned. And that segment includes our flagship Medicare supplement product, but also a robust portfolio of ancillary products that are great for the senior market, great for your under 65 clients, great for a cross-sell to maybe a Medicare Advantage person. And so I'll touch on our entire portfolio with part of this presentation. So I will go ahead and get started. So first, one more housekeeping item. So if you are currently contracted with CSB through URL, that's great. You have access to all these products. I want to make sure I mention that this is a separate producer contract. So if you are currently selling Cigna Medicare Advantage and PDP, that is a separate producer contract from the CSB contract. So again, just because you have Cigna MA maybe in your portfolio, make sure you have a contract with CSB. And if you do, that covers all these products that I'm going to show you and walk through today at a high level, given the time frame that we have. But if you don't have a contract with CSB, definitely reach out to Christy's team. They can get you contracted with our CSB portfolio. Again, it's a really robust portfolio. One contract covers all the products I'm going to mention here on these next two slides. So I'll probably spend about half the time today on our MedSup. Again, that's really our flagship product with our CSB portfolio. I'm going to go into, at a high level, the rest of the products with the star next to it. So I'm going to go over our Flexible Choice Dental, Vision, and Hearing. I'm going to go over our Flexible Choice Cancer, Heart Attack, and Stroke product. And I'm going to go over our newest portfolio addition, which is our new Flexible Choice Hospital Indemnity product. Again, I'll go over those at kind of a high level. Each of these individual products, I mean, we can go probably an hour-long training going deep dive into each of these individual products. For purpose of today, I'm going to keep it pretty high level just to give you kind of an overall portfolio view of our product portfolio. And again, encourage you, if you have a contract with us, thank you for your business. And if you don't, reach out to URL. I'm sure they can get you contracted and access to these great products. So again, I'll go over MedSup, DVH, the Cancer, Heart, and Stroke, and HI today. Our contract also covers with CSB these other products as well. So again, just for the sake of time, I won't go over these products in other than on this slide. But our CSB portfolio includes a cancer treatment product. So think of that as an indemnity product that pays benefits to your client upon the treatment of an associated cost with cancer treatment. So think of it as kind of an ongoing ability to cover some of those costs and some of the just the inherent burden that goes with a cancer diagnosis, a cancer treatment. We have a choice accident product. So think of that as a great cross-sell if you're in the ACA market. It pays an indemnity benefit for covered accidents. So think of that as a great add-on to an ACA client who wants to just cover some of their exposures. Again, it's available for ages 18 to 74, but it is really more geared towards that, I would say, under 65, younger client base, especially a great cross-sell to an ACA person. Going from right to left, we have a choice short-term care product available in 18 states right now. Think of that as with some of the stresses to the long-term care market, it's increasingly hard to qualify for, increasingly expensive. Think of short-term care as for 1 year or less, kind of an option for a long-term care person that really can't afford, can't qualify for long-term care. Short-term care is a great option for those clients who kind of wishes to cover some of the potential cost exposures to having the need for assisted living because they can't operate 2 of the 5 activities of daily living. So that's kind of what that product is for. We have a final expense product. And in states we don't have the choice accident, we have an accident treatment product. So most states we have the choice accident. So again, really a wide array of products in our ancillary portfolio, all covered under the CSB contract. So again, just taking the contract with CSB gives you access to our MedSup and our entire ancillary portfolio, of which I'm going to focus on 3 of our probably flagship ancillary products today. But just know that we have ample training on our portal, on-demand training that you can navigate to kind of get a sense of these other products as well. So encourage you to take a look at our entire portfolio of products. All right, like I said, I'm going to spend probably half the time available on our MedSup, as that's definitely kind of our lead product within our CSB portfolio. So like many companies in this space, we operate and market and manufacture Medicare Supplement on a multiple underwriting companies or legal entities. We use the term sort of MedSup charters. So depending on the state that you're in, we are probably marketing for new business. We are marketing one of the entities you see on the screen. In the past, we would have probably marketed these other companies, but have since ceased accepting new business on the charter. So if you've been with us for several years in, let's say, Pennsylvania, we are currently marketing Cigna Insurance Company, or CIC, in Pennsylvania for new business. But prior to launching CIC, we were marketing Cigna National. And so you obviously might have in-force clients on one of our quote unquote older MedSup charters, but our currently marketed competitive rates in today's market, in the case of Pennsylvania, are on CIC. So depending on the state you're in, if you sell nationally, these are the 5 companies that we currently sell MedSup on. In most states, we are either CIC or Cigna National, or CNIC for the acronym. And that's really where most of our new business is on, one of those, CIC or CNIC. And for Loyal American, we're only in Hawaii, Alaska, and DC. So unless you're in one of those 3 states, chances are you're not really running across Loyal for a MedSup perspective. But all of our ancillary products are on Loyal American Life Insurance Company paper. So again, one producer contract covers not only the entire product portfolio, but also all the legal entities that we manufacture and sell our CSB products on. So if you're focused on the MedSup market, it's just important that you know what company we're currently marketing. The good thing is, on our portal, on our e-app, we're only going to show the rates in the company that we're currently marketing. So there's no real need to, in some sense, to understand what we're marketing in what state at what time. The e-app will obviously drive you to our current rates. Just to give you a sense of some of our highlights of our product, our MedSup product. So going from left to right, really a key one that is really critical and vital to our strategy from a MedSup perspective is our our household discount approach. I'm going to touch on that more in a second, but the takeaway for now is just to know that in most states, in many states, we have two types of household discounts that your client can qualify for. And in most of those states, it's a 6% sort of lower hurdle living with someone discount, where they just have to have someone else in the household that lives with them. That would garner your client a 6% living with someone discount. But where our rates are really pop on the coding platforms, and where you can really get your clients some significant savings from what they're currently paying off their Med Sup, is we have a 20% multi-policy discount available in most states. So again, I'll touch on that more in a second, but it's really kind of been vital to our strategy and really been key to kind of our success in the market here these past couple years, and especially this past AEP, where we had really a historic AEP from a volume perspective for Med Sup. I'll touch on our Cigna Healthy Rewards and additional member discounts. So that's some of the extra benefits that your client will hear about once they are a Cigna Med Sup policyholder. We'll send some of that information out in their welcome packet. This is where we have sort of a discount gym membership program, some other discounted programs for your clients, just to sort of add value to your clients for their Med Sup. I'll touch on that also in a second. Another differentiator for us that I think is a great tool in your toolbox as agents to help clients, to help more clients, is we have a 4-tier rating structure. I'll tease that for now and just think of that as, again, a tool in your toolbox to help some clients out there that you may feel, based on their current health status, are uninsurable to switch their Med Sups. So that's my tease. I'll touch on that in a second here. And also no application fees. So oftentimes a lot of Med Sup companies that maybe quote really well on the various quoting platforms, but inherent to their Med Sup is sort of an application fee or a policy fee that your client has to pay upon application of the policy, where typically it's $25. We don't have that on our Med Sup. So just know that the rate that you can quote your client is the rate that they'll pay from a monthly premium perspective. There's no sort of inherent policy fee to our Med Sup, which is a great value for your clients. All right, so a lot to keep track of. Again, if you sell nationally, here is our map. Pretty colorful because, like I said, we depending on the state, here is the Med Sup company that we are currently marketing as of today. For new business. So again, you see a lot of green and a lot of the sort of the lighter blue. Again, we're mostly scenic or CIC in most states. And so just again, this is sort of our landscape. We're in all 50 states except New York State and Massachusetts. So if you sell, again, nationally, just know that we likely have a Med Sup that's competitive for your clients in any state that you operate in. So be sure to take a look at us as you go forward. The best spot to keep track of all this is if you want to take a picture of this or just sort of jot this down, this URL, it is not behind our portal login. So you can just bookmark this and know that you can always go to it. Don't need to log into our portal or credential in to get to this site. But this site is kind of an interactive PDF that you can navigate through. It's going to show kind of, any state in the country. It'll show what our entire CSP product footprint is available in that state. It'll show what our household discount approach is from a Med Sup perspective. It'll show all the various ancillary products available that is included in the producer contract for CSP. And so again, it's a great spot. We communicate to the field as far as when we have launched a new charter for Med Sup. But this site is always kept up to date, and you can always know what Med Sup company we're marketing in what state at the current time. So a great guide to bookmark for you guys to just kind of maintain a handle on what we got going on here at Cigna Supplemental Benefits. And here's just a page on that interactive chart. So again, you kind of navigate here and kind of can show what the various products are, what Med Sup plans we have in every state, and what company we're marketing. So that's where just one more page from that interactive guide. All right, so I mentioned a key piece of our MedSup strategy is our household discount approach. So I just want to give a visual, let you guys kind of scan through this list. I know a lot of probably folks from PA on the call, but as you sell in border states or if you sell nationally, if you see two amounts for a discount in the state, that means that we have the two-tier household discount approach available. And I'll touch on sort of how to qualify for each in a second, but that's really kind of our most, where we're really competitive is where you can quote that 20% discount in the states where we have it. If you see just a single discount amount, as you guys know, many states sort of prescribe what they allow from a household discount perspective in the MedSup market. So in states like Ohio and New Jersey, those states are states where the DOIs actually require MedSup companies to have their household discount qualification criteria be two policies in the house. So those are multi-policy discount. To qualify for the discount in New Jersey and Ohio, for example, you need two policies to be with Cigna or to apply at the same time. But again, in most states, we have the two-tier approach, which is really kind of our I would say our secret sauce so far in the MedSup space. It's been really vital to our success. All right, so I mentioned I would give you kind of an overview of how to qualify for. So again, in those states where we have the two-tier approach, that just gives you more tools to have your clients qualify for a household discount. So in those states, roughly 30 states that we have the two-tier approach, the living with someone household discount, we kind of use the acronym LWS. That's really I would say the lower hurdle to qualify for. It's probably more similar to what is available in the broader MedSup market, where essentially, depending on the state, we may ask the question in a couple different ways, but in many states, the hurdle to qualify for the 6% discount is simply, does the applicant live with someone in the household age 18 or older? In some states, we have a little bit of the higher hurdle where that other person needs to be someone age 50 or older, or the sort of the legal spouse of the applicant. So depending on the state, it's one of those two general questions. But if you can answer yes to that from your applicant's scenario, then they qualify for the 6% living with someone household discount. And where then the next kind of a section or next question from a household discount perspective would be the multi-policies. Like, can your client qualify for the multi-policy discount? So that discount is just like it sounds. It essentially would require that either you have two applying at the same time for our MedSup, or if you're applying for a new person, but someone else in the household already has a Cigna affiliate MedSup. If you can answer yes to either of those two scenarios, then you can quote that individual at the 20% household discount. And that's really where our rates are really competitive in the market. If you can kind of pull that 20% household discount out based on the scenario of your clients. So a couple things, one scenario I want to kind of walk through that is really, we see a lot of agents do this, and it's really a great way to sort of plan for kind of a two-person household client. So oftentimes we'll have a situation where the agent will be writing the first kind of spouse in the house that kind of becomes Medicare eligible at age 65, and they're writing that MedSup from a Cigna perspective because they can only answer yes to that first living with someone household discount question. Let's say they'll quote the 6% from the time that individual applies for the MedSup. But let's say their spouse is coming in right behind them, turning 65, let's say, 6 months, a year after that first spouse, then you would apply, the second spouse would get the 20% multi-policy discount from the start, because you can answer on that second app that someone else in the household already has a Cigna MedSup. But the benefit of our process is that first person that you wrote, where you only could elect the 6% discount, upon the first premium renewal, after we become aware of the second person in the house getting a MedSup, that individual's discount would bump up from the 6% to the full 20%. So again, a great way to kind of plan ahead for maybe a two-person household where, one person is MedSup eligible, but the second person is down the road a little bit. A great way to kind of plan ahead for that client, those two clients. So we see that a lot, and it's a great way to kind of have, get them both when they need it. But when the second person becomes active, that first person will get the increase of the discount. Hope that made sense. But we do see that a lot with agents, and it's a great tool to plan ahead for your clients. I also mentioned, I kind of teased it a little bit, but the additional rate classes, I've got 2 slides on that I want to kind of touch on, and forgive me, it's kind of wordy, but think of, we'll go row by row, just kind of tee this up. But again, we have 4 rate classes for MedSup in most of our states. And so think of it this way. If our preferred rate, think of that as our non-smoker rate, non-tobacco user rate. But if your applicant is either in open enrollment because they're turning 65 or within their Part B effective date, or if they're in a verified guaranteed issue situation based on, coming off of MA or coming off of, group coverage, if they are OE, or GI, then they'll always get the preferred rate. And so, or if they're in an underwritten situation and they are able to answer no to all the health questions, no to the tobacco question, then they'll also get the preferred rate. So preferred rate, think of that as our non-smoker rate, but also the rate that your client would get in OE or GI. So if they're on an underwritten MedSup path from an application perspective, and they answer, no to all the health questions, but they are a smoker, then they would answer yes to the tobacco question. Then they would get the standard rate. So think of the standard rate as our smoker rate, essentially. So that's really kind of no different than what you see with most carriers. Our differentiator is these next 2 rate classes, Standard 2, Standard 3. So think of Standard 3 as simply the tobacco version of Standard 2. So without getting too in the weeds, think of the Standard 2 and 3 rate classes. Those are a rate class that really only come into play when your client is in a MedSup underwritten situation. And we have an entire set of questions on our MedSup application that you would ask your client, and those drive to conditions that we would accept. We would often accept the MedSup case, but at a higher rate class. And so the best way to illustrate this is to go to this next slide. So these are the accepted health conditions that we'll take a client on when that's MedSup underwritten, but at the Standard 2 rate class if they're a non-smoker, and a Standard 3 rate class if they're a smoker, essentially. So I would ask you to kind of look at all these conditions, and just I suspect that you have over your careers, had clients who come down with these conditions. These are seniors. Their health, they start out great maybe, but they're over time contract some of these conditions, and you may have felt or maybe feel that your client is essentially uninsurable to switch to a new MedSup. And so what happens is they've been on their MedSup for 10 years. That's 10 years of rate increases, 10 years of attained age increases. So while obviously, as I'm sure you can already have guessed, that the Standard 2 and 3 rate classes are quite a bit higher than our preferred rate in a given state for a given plan at a given age. But chances are, if you were to quote them, the Standard 2 rate that we would charge with one of these conditions is oftentimes can be quite a bit lower than what they're currently paying on their current MedSup. So again, the thought is with this rate class, it's sort of we like to call it a tool in your toolbox to help a client out that you may feel is uninsurable because they have one of these conditions, and you felt that, okay, they're probably stuck in their current MedSup paying whatever they're paying. keep this in your back pocket. Keep us in mind that, again, we're taking these risks. Our actuaries say we feel comfortable in accepting these risks at the standard 2 rate class level, because our actuaries feel that we can sort of absorb that. So again, the calculus is not it's not really the difference between what the preferred rate is, because unfortunately these folks, if it's MedSup underwritten, if they have these conditions, they wouldn't get the preferred rate. It's comparing what we would charge at standard 2 versus what they're currently paying for their current MedSup. And again, as you guys all know, if they've had it for 10 years, chances are they're paying, quite a bit higher premiums. So hope that made sense. But again, if nothing else, just think of this as a tool in your toolbox to help out some more clients. All right, I mentioned that we have a healthy rewards. So think of that as sort of our value, our suite of discounted programs, extra benefits. Your client would get all this information in their welcome packet. I'll just touch on sort of the main ones. In most states, we partner with Active and Fit for our fitness club membership. Just to be transparent, it is a discount, so it's not a free gym membership. They would just get access to a discounted rate. So if they pay a monthly one-time registration of $28 and then $28 per month, that would give your client access to the Active and Fit participating gyms and fitness clubs. And so again, not a free gym membership, but just a discounted access to discounted. Lots of discounted programs. Again, a lot of this will be in their welcome packet once they become a Cigna MedSup policyholder. Just some access to some discounted programs, things like discounts for hearing exams and hearing aids, some discounts to some home delivery of meals, and so a variety of things from a discount perspective. Some additional member discounts, again, inherent to becoming a Cigna MedSup policyholder. The one I always like to highlight is a 24-hour health information line. So that's where your client can call that number 24/7, 365. That phone is answered by health advocates who are licensed nurses in terms of being credentialed. To be clear, though, they're not allowed to give medical advice from a telehealth perspective, but they are able to help your clients navigate sort of the maze that is Medicare. And so think of it as sort of just an extra resource outside of sort of the normal customer service that most MedSup companies offer. All right, so that's MedSup in a nutshell. Again, really our flagship product is MedSup, but also again a key benefit of having a CSP contract is access to all the ancillary products that I mentioned on the first couple slides. So for purposes of this presentation, I'm going to focus on our 3 main ones. First up, just kind of give you a sense of kind of how we position our ancillary products and how we think that agents can help to position our ancillary products. A lot of interesting stats on the screen. I won't belabor the point on any one of these, but essentially at a high level, think of the need for supplemental insurance is really from a perspective of, unfortunately, roughly 60% of Americans really can't afford an unexpected $1,000 medical bill. And so depending on what their current, medical insurance situation is, whether it's ACA, Medicare, original Medicare and a MedSup, whether it's Medicare Advantage, there's a whole host of ways that your client can be exposed to costs, burdens based on a diagnosis of a cancer or based on, not having dental insurance. And so really our ancillary portfolio is really meant to, help give your clients peace of mind that our insurance will be there to help support them in their time of need, and that, again, their core medical insurance, whether it's ACA, MA, Medicare plus MedSup, there still are things outside of that where they're going to have some cost exposures, and that our ancillary portfolio can help to support those. All right, like I said, these next three I'm going to just go over at a real high level: our DVH, our cancer, heart, and stroke, and our household indemnity. But again, these can be really roughly an hour dedicated deep dive product training for each of these products. So for purposes of today, I want to keep it sort of high level, just kind of more overall portfolio perspective. Happy to follow up with, if the folks at URL desire kind of a follow up and do maybe a deep dive into any one of these products. But for now, just forgive me for the real high level view of these products. So first, our DVH. So our DVH is available for issue ages 18 to 89. So we have two age bands from a rate perspective. So if the primary applicant is age 18 to 49, that's one composite rate. Or if they're 50 to 89, that's another composite rate. It's guaranteed renewable for life. Our rates for our DVH are unisex and unitobacco. So what that means is male and females pay the same rate, as do smoker, non-smokers pay the same rate. There's no tobacco or gender rating with our DVH. And of course, there's no medical underwriting on our product. So it's essentially a guarantee issue, or it is a guarantee issue. There's no underwriting. Similar to our MedSup, no app fee, no policy fee. We do have the flexibility for you to dial up the coverage based on your client scenario. So because we're available ages 18 to 89, we have coverage types that can include individual plus spouse, single parent family coverage, or family coverage. So all those coverage type options are available depending on your client situation and need. Our network for our DVH, this is important to probably put in the back of your mind. And again, this is where our deep dive training would be helpful. Our network is the Carrington Dental Network. So again, it can and does get confusing in the market, because oftentimes, Cigna, in terms of like our commercial segment and our individual and family plan segment, all those Cigna segments also have a dental product out there in the marketplace. And so when your clients are talking to a dentist or a provider, it's important that, and this is very evident on our ID cards, but our network is Carrington. So while this is a Cigna DVH, it's important that the dentist understands, and it's important that you as agents really try to find in-network dentists for your clients to use. That's where this product works the best. And so again, our network for our DVH on the CSB product is the Carrington Maximum Care PPO network. Lots of vision providers, lots of hearing providers. So again, a great, so the DVH, the V and the H in DVH is also leveraging a wide range of providers in our product. Just to give you a sense of the coverage, so kind of this is where, again, I would definitely encourage, if you're going to write our DVH, always use our e-app. It's a very menu style option as far as just to dial up or down the coverage for your client. Sort of the first kind of question or first election that your client would need as to what their deductible option would be. So we have 4 different deductible options: 0, 50, 100, and $100 disappearing, where the deductible decreases a year by a third every calendar or policy year. We have benefit options ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 of annual maximum benefit coverage. So I would say, like most of our agent sold business for our DVH, most are electing the $5,000 benefit maximum. Because when you go through a quote, really the difference between the $5,000 maximum benefit to some of the smaller choices, it's really not that great of a premium differential. So oftentimes we're seeing our agents really pull the lever on that $5,000 coverage. We have a rider option where your client can get 100% coverage for preventative services. And here is the without that 100% rider for class 1 preventive, on year 1, coverage would be 60% for class 1 and 2 for class 1 and 2 services. For class 3 major services, there is a waiting period of 12 months where year 2 and forward would be 60%. But we will waive the waiting period if they're coming off of prior dental coverage. And so if they're able to note that on the app and provide proof of prior coverage or current coverage, then they would have the 60% year 1 from the start, and we'll waive that waiting period for class 3 major services. For the vision and the hearing, it is a reimbursement benefit. So $200 of vision benefit every 2 policy years, and $500 of hearing benefit every year. And so it's a reimbursement benefit from a vision and hearing perspective. Here's where our DVH is available. So pretty much almost the entire country except for a handful of straggler states. So if you are in any of these green states, definitely would love to have you take a look at our DVH product. It's probably it is our number 1 seller in our ancillary portfolio, is our DVH. All right, the next one I want to talk about, again, like I said, I'll focus on the 3 major ancillary products. The second one is our cancer, heart attack, and stroke product. All included in the benefit in the contract for CSB. So available pretty much for any possible client you can have, ages 18 to 99. Similar to the DVH, there's options you can insure an individual, a couple, a single parent, or family coverage. So our e-app will walk you through all those coverage type options. This pays, just like it sounds, a flexible lump sum benefit where you can elect from $5,000 to $75,000 of lump sum benefit coverage, available in $1,000 increments. So it's simplified issue underwriting. So just yes, no questions. It's issue age rated. So there's no the rate that you lock in at the issue age. That'll be the rate that your client has. And similar to our DVH, unisex and unit tobacco rates. So male, females, smoker, non-smokers all pay the same rate. And this is where we kind of coin the term flexible choice. So a whole host of riders are available. Again, this is where the hour-long dedicated training is needed to kind of go through all these different options. But there's just a variety of riders available that you can add to your base lump sum cancer or base lump sum heart attack and stroke coverage, just to round out coverage. Things like restoration and recurrence riders, hospital indemnity riders, return of premium riders. So a whole host of riders available to you to really just round out coverage, to provide more peace of mind to your clients, available on our cancer, heart attack, and stroke product. Again, I'm not going to go too in the weeds on this product, but just know that kind of think of it as like your starting point is, are you going to have, when you're in front of a client and you want to bring this solution to them, you select the base policy. So we have a base flexible choice cancer product or a base flexible choice heart attack and stroke. You can add the other one as a rider. So you kind of have really essentially both coverages. And so that's an option as you dial up or down the coverage for your clients. For the flexible choice lump sum cancer product, this slide is just meant to kind of walk you through what are the qualifying events and what we pay for that qualifying event. So actually quite simple on the cancer. We'll pay 100% of the benefit amount that you select and apply for the client for the diagnosis of cancer and carcinoma in situ. And so for one of those qualifying events, we'll pay 100% of the benefit for each event. And so kind of quite simply, lump sum cancer coverage upon the diagnosis of cancer. So a great peace of mind for your clients. And this is where, unfortunately, everyone on this call, I'm sure, is touched by cancer from someone in our lives. And so this, again, provides that lump sum benefit upon the diagnosis of cancer. If you have your client select a flexible choice heart attack and stroke lump sum as your base policy, a little bit more involved than the cancer-based version. So the qualifying events for that will pay a benefit for the flexible choice heart attack and stroke product. So for a heart attack, a heart transplant, or a stroke, that will garner a 100% benefit. For things like a coronary artery bypass surgery, aortic surgery, or heart valve replacement repair, that will be a 25% benefit amount payable per event. And for things like an angioplasty or a stent, that's a 10% benefit. So a little bit more of a differentiation in terms of qualifying events for the heart attack and stroke. But again, great coverage for your clients. Here's our availability. So think of, and again, this is where, just for the sake of time, some of the different colors on this map, if you're in a state like, let's say, Kentucky or New Jersey, some of the 1.0 versus 2.0, really that's inherent to some of the riders that are available or not available. So again, just for the sake of time, I'm going to just keep this really high level. But in most states, like PA, for example, just know that the entire suite of riders are available. And so the e-app walks you through all that's available. So when you're doing a quote for PA, for example, it'll show what's available, and you can really dial up or down the coverage based on the base policy you select, based on the riders that you want to add on to the coverage. So just know that in states like PA and in most states, we have the entire suite available of riders. All right, the last product I'm going to go over real quick is our new Choice Hospital Indemnity. It is our newest product in our portfolio. I have the map here in a second, but we're in 21 states right now, including Pennsylvania. And so a great new addition to our portfolio. This one's available for issue ages 18 to 89. We do have some guarantee issue options for your clients that are age 64 to 70. So for those, if they select our base plan, we have 3 different plan types. If they're between the ages of 64 and 70 and select our base plan type, benefit type, that is GI. So think of that as a great way to cross-sell to maybe a Medicare Advantage client if they're looking to fill or close that hospital copay gap inherent to MA. If they're not going to kind of go that GI route based on their age or based on their benefit type they want to apply for, it is a very simplified underwriting. So just simple yes, no questions. There's no back office prescription drug lookup process. It's really just if you can answer no to the health questions, you can know that your client will get issued that hospital indemnity product with us at the time of consultation. There's the rates won't increase due to changes in health status. We have an unlimited number of hospital confinements. And then we have an observation room benefit that pays 100% of the hospital confinement benefit on the selected plans. So guaranteed renewable for life, a great cross-sell to an MA person, great cross-sell to maybe an ACA client who has some extra premium dollars to help to close some of the inherent gaps with ACA. So definitely it's our newest product in our portfolio. It's in 21 states right now. Here is the states where we have available right now. but it will be available in more states in 2025. All right. So lastly, if you're new or newer to us, and again, I think just to kind of, not to be a broken record, but we can spend almost a dedicated session on just our portal. But that's not to say it's confusing. It's really quite simple, actually. So really all things start on our portal. Again, I mentioned in my earlier comments, if you have a Cigna MA and PDP contract, we do share the same portal. And so it's cignaforbrokers.com. If you have a CSB contract and a MA and PDP contract, then you'll see both navigations available. So everything with us starts here in that Cigna supplemental left-hand side navigation. But if you want to quote a client, first step is to hit the quote and enroll link here. And to quote for your clients, it's a very simple 3 pieces of information: zip code of your applicant, their date of birth, and their gender. Hit quick quote and apply. And so that'll bring you to that next screen, and it's going to show all the CSB products available for that zip code. And so you can really kind of almost Amazon style shop for your client. So it'll show MedSup at the top, but then all the ancillary products. And so very simple to know, what is available to elect, all different products, the different riders within those base products. And so, like I said, I know, obviously we know that you guys have multiple, carrier contracts, multiple products available to you guys. And so as long as you use our e-app, you can know that if you're coding for a Pennsylvania zip code, we're going to only show what's available in Pennsylvania. And so really simple for you to know that, okay, I'm not going to, send in an app to the carrier for something that's not even available. The e-app will only show what's available based on the zip code that you elect for your quote. We do have some incentives available for agents in 2025. So here is our program for this calendar year. So from a MedSup perspective, we have $100 bonus if you can do 4 MedSup underwritten F, G, or N, or open enrollment N. But in 4 states, including Pennsylvania, that bonus is actually $150. So a little bit higher bonus in 4 states: Kansas, New Jersey, PA, and Texas. We will retro pay to the first app. So if you do, 5 apps, it'll be 5 times the $150 in PA. If you can do underwritten FGN or open enrollment N. And then we also have a bonus program for ancillary products. So we have one that's sort of standalone for our DVH, and then one that's sort of combined for the rest of the products in our ancillary portfolio. So again, just a great option to get some dollars available to you. Here's our contact list. Again, the main number to call is our Agent Resource Center, 877-454-0923. They can help you navigate any questions from an agent perspective, but I know the folks at URL are available to help, and certainly I can assist. That is my presentation for this session. Again, wanted to keep it somewhat high level. Wanted to give you a sense of our overall portfolio, but it's really just given the time available. It's hard to go into too in depth for any one product. Maybe I'll kick it over to Christy. I know I suspect there's been maybe some chat questions. I know we have some time left available, so happy to hopefully address any of those that are out there.
Thank you, Jason. That was fantastic. We just had a question about who they reach out to in Pennsylvania as their broker manager.
Yeah, so we're not structured, probably similar to what a lot of the Medicare Advantage, teams, both at Cigna and other carriers. We kind of approach more nationally on the CSB side. So I would say that your first stop as an agent would be that Agent Resource Center line. So 1-877-454-0923. I'll just acknowledge that, and there may be a question in the chat on this. We had some operational challenges, to say the least, this last AEP. There were some just incredible hold times, or incredibly bad hold times on that line. We're getting back to normal on that. And so what you may have experienced during the AEP last year, as far as calling that number and being on hold for just crazy hold times, that should not be the experience now and going forward. If you can't get your answer, don't feel you're getting the help you need, I guess I would recommend maybe escalation back to URL as an upline, and they can certainly escalate to me, and I can get you anything escalated in that regard. But we don't have, but just to reiterate, we don't have a Pennsylvania broker manager rep that supports CSB. We kind of have more of an overall nationwide approach for support.
Thank you, Jason. Cassie asks, can you see the standard rate when quoting through the Cigna portal?
Yeah, great question. So the eApp will walk you through. And so if you know that if you answer yes to the tobacco question and it's a MedSup underwritten case, it's gonna flip to the standard rate. So if you know you're having a smoker, you can actually do one of two things. You can actually elect in the drop down the standard rate because you inherently know that you're dealing with a smoker, or what oftentimes brokers do, whether they intend to or not, is they start at that preferred rate and then go through the questions on the app, and the questions to the app, the answers to the questions to the app might drive it back to the standard rate. So short answer is yes, you can see the standard rate on the portal.
Thank you. And we had some questions about issues with the portal enrolling this year. Do you have any comment on that? Like, they're able to quote but not enroll sometimes?
Yeah. Again, I'm not aware of anything. I mean, if they're contracted with, so they got as far as going to our portal, clicking on quote and enroll in the CSB section, that tells me they should be good to sort of proceed and write. I guess my suggestion would be to, again, call that agent resource center line and walk through what they're seeing. And they should be able to get some help there.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see, Ramona, you asked about the tech department. I would say that's the same line, and then they'll connect you with who you need to talk to.
Yes.
And does the portal track all types of applications submitted?
Yeah. Yes.
Just the MedSup, though, right?
Well, the MedSup and the ancillary. So if they're writing the CSB product, so whether it's MedSup or any of the cancer, heart, stroke, DVH, that would all be in. They would navigate to the book of business link, and that would show their entire book of business, including pending, active cases in that view for all CSB products. So not just MedSup, but also the ancillary products as well. So if they're a writing agent, they will see all their individual AOR business. If they're an upline, if they have downlines, they would see their downline business. So that book of business link is where they can see all that.
Great, thank you. And I'd say, Ramona, if you're still having issues, just send me screenshots and we'll work with Cigna directly to get you straightened out, because you might have a specific situation to you. All right. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate your time today and you reviewing all of that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope you have a good rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.